Have you ever seen rice turn into a silky, tomato-rich bed for a whole fish? In Kuwait, this festive classic features rice simmered in a rich tomato broth until it takes on an almost orzo-like texture, absorbing layers of flavor along the way. It starts with Kuwait's prized fish, Zubaidi, known in English as silver pomfret, stuffed with garlic, fresh dill, cilantro, turmeric, black pepper, and ground coriander, among others, just before gently frying it until golden. Sweet onions, tomatoes, dried black lime, and fresh herbs are then cooked down into a rich, aromatic broth that fills the kitchen with delicious warmth. The rice is added, followed by the stuffed fish, and the entire pot is left to steam until every bite is tender, fragrant, and deeply flavorful. In many Kuwaiti homes, dishes like this are served at family gatherings and special occasions, bringing together the flavors of the sea and the techniques of traditional home cooking. And if you'd like to learn how to make this dish and many other traditional Kuwaiti recipes, you'll find them in my cookbook, From My Kuwaiti Kitchen. Inside, you'll discover authentic family recipes, traditional cooking techniques, and some of Kuwait's most beloved dishes, all brought together in one collection. You'll find a link to the cookbook in the description below. Have you ever seen fish and rice come together quite like this before? Let's make it. The first thing we need to do is prepare the fish. Before anything else, we rub it with salt and let it sit for a few minutes. This is a step my mother has always done when preparing fish. After that, we rinse it well, pat it dry, and get it ready for the rest of the recipe. With that done, we can start building all the flavors that make this dish so special. Whenever my mother makes a fish dish like this, there's never any rush. The preparation takes time, but that's part of what makes these recipes special. A lot of traditional Kuwaiti cooking is like that. The ingredients themselves are fairly simple, but the care that goes into preparing them is what makes the difference in the final dish. After washing and drying the fish, we season it generously inside and out with salt first. Then we stuff it with our herb and onion mixture, which we'll mix with a little of our spice mix. One thing I love about dishes like this is how the aroma starts to develop long before anything is cooked. As soon as the spices hit the fish, you start getting a preview of what's to come. Zubaidi has a delicate flavor and texture, which is one of the reasons it's so highly prized in Kuwait. The seasoning adds warmth and depth without overpowering the fish itself. At this stage, the fish is already starting to come together, but we're not finished yet. Next, we'll season the fish from the outside and inside with the seasoning mix we made until it's well coated with the seasoning. Before we season the fish, we start by making the stuffing. Into a bowl goes finely chopped onion, fresh dill, fresh cilantro, and a little of our seasoning blend. There aren't many ingredients here, but together they create the fresh, fragrant filling that gives this dish so much of its character. Once everything is mixed together, it's ready to go inside the fish. What I love about this mixture is that it's incredibly simple. Just fresh herbs, onion, and spices. But once everything cooks together, those ingredients completely transform and become part of the flavor of the rice, the sauce, and the fish itself. Next, we carefully fill the cavity with the herb mixture, making sure it's packed all the way through. Once that's done, we season the fish inside and out with our spice mixture until every part is well coated. This is one of those moments that probably looks familiar if you've ever cooked with your mom. No matter how many times you've made a dish, somehow she'll still spot something you've missed. A little more seasoning here, a spot you've forgotten there. And more often than not, she's right. These recipes have been part of her kitchen for years, so she notices the little things that other people might overlook. So before we move on, we make one final pass and make sure every part of the fish is coated with the seasoning mixture. Now it's time to fry the fish. We start by adding a little ghee to the pan, followed by some oil. Once it's hot, we carefully place the fish into the pan with the open side facing down. Normally, this is where tying the fish with kitchen twine really helps, because it keeps the stuffing securely in place while the fish cooks. In our case, we forgot to tie it, so we have to be a little more careful. Now, we gently place the fish into the oil and handle it as little as possible to keep all that stuffing where it belongs. Once the first side is nicely golden, we carefully flip it over and let the other side cook. This part always requires a little patience. Zubaidi has a delicate texture, and after taking the time to season and stuff it, the last thing you want is for it to fall apart in the pan. When both sides are lightly golden, we lift the fish out and transfer it to a plate to rest. It already smells incredible, but it still has a little more to go. The fish will go back into the pot later and continue cooking with the tomato broth and rice, where all those flavors will come together. Now that the fish is resting, we can start building the base of the dish. We start with the oil left over from frying the fish. There's a lot of flavor in that pan already, and we don't want any of it to go to waste. First, we add the onions and let them cook for a few minutes until they begin to soften. Next comes the garlic. My mom likes to prepare garlic in advance and freeze it in small cubes, so whenever she's cooking, she can simply take out exactly what she needs. Along with the garlic, we're also adding frozen green chili cubes, about 2 teaspoons, and you can adjust that depending on how much heat you like. Once that's melted into the onions, we add the fresh dill and give everything a good mix. Then the fresh cilantro goes in. Now the flavors really start coming together. The herbs, garlic, and chili blend into the onions, creating a rich and aromatic base for the rice. Everything is stirred together and cooked for a few more minutes before we move on to the next step. Now we add the tomato paste and the pureed tomatoes. As the sauce simmers, it starts to thicken and the color deepens. This is where so much of the flavor in the rice comes from later on. Now we add the water and give everything a good stir. At this point, the pot starts to look more like a broth than a sauce, but that's exactly what we're after. This liquid is going to carry all the flavor through the rest of the dish, so we want to give everything a chance to come together before moving on. Once the water is in, we bring the pot up to a boil and let it simmer for a while, and let the pot do some of the work. As the broth bubbles away, all those ingredients begin blending together into the rich, flavorful base that will eventually cook the rice and fish. Once the sauce is ready, the fish goes back in. I always love this moment because you can finally start to picture the finished dish. The fish sits right in the middle of all those herbs, spices, and tomatoes, and from here on, everything cooks together. Now all we need is a little patience. With the fish back in the pot, it's time to add another layer of flavor. In goes the green curry powder, cumin, Kuwaiti spice mix, dried black lime powder, and a little chili flakes for some gentle heat. One thing I love about dishes like this is how the flavor develops in stages. We've already seasoned the fish, built the herb base, and added the tomato sauce. Now these spices bring everything together and give the broth even more depth. Once everything is mixed in, we let the pot come back up to a gentle boil so the spices have a chance to bloom in the broth. The herbs, tomatoes, spices, and fish will all come together in the same pot, and you can finally start to get a sense of what the finished dish is going to taste like. Now we're ready for the rice. Now it's time to add the rice. This is where this dish starts to separate itself from many other rice dishes you'll find across the Gulf. With dishes like Machboos, the rice is usually cooked until the grains stay fairly separate and fluffy. Khithrat is different. Here, the rice cooks in the same pot as the fish and the broth, absorbing all those flavors as it slowly softens. At this stage, we add a little more water as needed. We want enough liquid in the pot for the rice to cook properly and develop the texture we're after. As the rice cooks, it absorbs the tomato broth, the herbs, the spices, and the flavor of the fish itself. By the end, the texture is much softer than a traditional Machboos, almost creamy, with every grain coated in the rich broth. That's one of the things that makes Khithrat so unique and such a favorite in many Kuwaiti homes. The rice has been soaked, drained, and is ready to go. We carefully spread it over the fish. Then we smooth it out into an even layer and add water if needed. From this point on, we allow the pot to simmer on low heat. The rice will slowly absorb all the flavor that's building in the pot. Dishes like Khithrat are a reminder of Kuwait's long connection to the sea. Before modern Kuwait, fishing was part of everyday life, and seafood naturally became an important part of the local cuisine. Zubaidi has always been one of the most prized fish in the region, and for many families, it's still the fish people reach for when they're making a special meal. Recipes like this have been passed down through generations, with every family adding their own little touch along the way. While the rice finishes cooking, we make the hashu, or topping. It's simply some chopped onions, cooked slowly until they're browned and caramelized. Nothing complicated, just thyme, patience, and a little stirring. But once it's sprinkled over the rice, you'll understand why nobody skips this step. One little trick my mom uses while making the hashu is adding a splash of water from time to time as the onions cook. It helps soften them and gives them a little more time to caramelize without browning too quickly. The goal isn't to rush the onions. We want them to slowly develop their sweetness and color. Once they've turned a light golden brown, we add a little oil or ghee right at the end. That helps finish them off beautifully and gives them a richer flavor before they're taken off the heat. It's a small step, but details like this are what make traditional recipes so good. You can also season the hashu as it cooks. In our case, we're adding about 2 teaspoons of Kuwaiti spice mix, which gives the onions even more flavor and helps tie everything together with the rest of the dish. Like many traditional recipes, the exact amount can be adjusted to your taste. If you'd like the full recipe with all the measurements, you'll find it in my cookbook from my childhood kitchen. I'll leave a link in the description. Next, we add some of the caramelized onions to one side of the rice pot. Then we cover it and let it steam for a few more minutes. As the onions sit on top, their flavor works its way into the rice, adding another layer of sweetness and richness to the dish. Once that's done, we carefully remove the fish from the pot and set it aside. This makes it much easier to transfer the rice without breaking the fish apart. Next, we spoon the rice onto our serving platter, creating a generous bed of rice across the bottom. Then the fish goes right on top. And finally, we finish everything with the remaining hashu, scattering those caramelized onions over the fish and rice. It's one last layer of flavor and the perfect way to finish the dish. Then the fish goes right back on top where it belongs. Next comes the hashu, and finally a drizzle of that reserved frying oil. It's a small touch, but it adds so much flavor. And there it is, Khithrat Zubaidi, tender fish, fragrant rice, fresh herbs, and warm spices, all brought together in one dish. For me, recipes like this are about more than just food. They're a connection to family, to tradition, and to the meals I grew up eating around our table. If you enjoyed cooking with us today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know which Kuwaiti recipe you'd like to see next.